Corporate or a company. It's a familiar word that we come across in our daily affairs. But do we know what company is all about? Though we know that it is a business unit, do we have a clear understanding about the form of business organization to which it belongs to? Yeah, in this presentation, we shall renew our minds by gazing about the very basics of a company. Company is one of the three major forms of business organization named as Joint Stock Company, which can be formed by registering under the Companies Act 1956. Since it is formed by registration, it is considered as an individual or a separate legal person in the eyes of law, which has its own name and functions on its own name by use of common seal, has an advantage of perpetual succession with limited liability of its members. While talking about registration, it is to be kept in mind that a lot of legal requirements are to be fulfilled, such as choosing a name, getting it approved from the Registrar of Companies in the state or union territory where it is to be located, framing memorandum of association and articles of association, the major governing documents of the company, specifying the particulars of proposed directors, manager or a secretary, and particulars of shareholders of the proposed company, and so on. Once the registrar is satisfied with all the formalities, he will issue a certificate named as Certificate of Incorporation, which is your company's birth certificate. A private company can commence its business as soon as it gets Certificate of Incorporation, but in case of a public company, it has to comply with further some legal formalities and get Certificate of Commencement of Business. Coming to the next aspect of a company, that is about the fund needed to run the business, it is important to know about some basics of capital. Since a company is a business unit, it needs both the capital of its own and borrowed capital to have balanced capital structure. At this juncture, it is important to realize that a private company cannot raise capital from general public, but a public company can do so. A public company can raise its own capital from the general public by way of issuing shares. When people invest their money in the shares of a company, they become the shareholders, or in common terms named as owners of the company, and for which in turn they get dividend from the company depending upon the profit it is earning. A certificate named as share certificate is issued to the shareholders specifying the number of shares held by them in acknowledgement of money received. In a similar way, when a public company wants to borrow from the public, it can issue debentures to the general public and get fund or borrowed capital. Such persons are technically termed as debenture holders or commonly as creditors of the company. These debenture holders get regular interest at a fixed rate for their investment irrespective of profit earned or loss suffered by the company. Like the shareholders, they are also issued the certificate named as debenture certificate for their investments in the company, which bears the rate of interest to be paid to them. Regarding its management, though the shareholders are the members of the company, they cannot manage the business unit since they are large in numbers. So, the management of company is vested in the hands of some elected representatives of the shareholders who are called the board of directors. A minimum of 3 directors in case of public company and 2 in case of private company is needed. Such elected directors are responsible person to conduct all business activities right from raising capital till the administration of business unit. These directors are recognized as primary organ of the company, and so they are held liable if the company suffers any loss or damage. Their liability is of both civil and criminal in nature. Though they are in the shareholders, they get remuneration of not exceeding 10% of annual net profit for all of them together in return of their services to the company. Thus, the company is formed, capital is raised and being managed, and lot of legal formalities are observed in each and every stage. Thank you.